Hey guys, today we're going to talk about nonfiction books that you will actually want to read. Sometimes we think of nonfiction as books that just have chapter headings and bold print and a table of contents and an index that you wouldn't really want to read unless you had to. Well, there are tons of books out there that are actually quite entertaining, and some even read like a fast-paced adventure story. Okay, first up, we have one called The Borden Murders. Lizzie Borden and the Trial of the Century. Maybe you have heard this little saying. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Now, maybe you've heard that. It is about a true story that happened hundreds of years ago about a girl named Lizzie Borden who reportedly murdered her mother and father with an axe. Now, everything you've heard about this story may not actually be true, and that's what this author wants to show us. This one reads really, really well. It's a fast-paced adventure. Did she do it? Or did she not do it? Was she framed? Found out by reading The Borden Murders. Up next is a book called Eyes and Spies, How You're Tracked and Why You Should Know. Yes, you are being watched. You just don't realize it. Now, you need to ask yourself some questions. Who's watching you? And why? What's the line between public and private, and how can you keep your secrets to yourself? Okay, this book not only shows you how you're tracked, it actually features real-life scenarios of people that have been spied on. So read this book, Eyes and Spies, to find out what you can do to protect yourself. Up next, an interesting title, You Can Get Sucked Down an Airplane Toilet. Fact or fiction behind urban myths. What's an urban myth? Okay, maybe you've heard things like the following. Have you ever heard that Walt Disney is buried or frozen underneath Disneyland? Or maybe you've heard alligators live in sewers in New York. Or if you drink Pepsi and swallow Pop Rocks, you will explode. All of these are called urban myths. Now, you may say, they're not true, they're ridiculous. Do they have an element of truth to them? Find out by reading You Can Get Sucked Down an Airplane Toilet. Next up, Lincoln's Grave Robbers. The year is 1876. President Lincoln has been dead for a while. The world's very different than what it is today. It is the age of counterfeiting. People are making fake money. Now, there was this man named Benjamin Boyd who got thrown in jail for making fake money, but his gang wanted him back so much that they were willing to steal President Lincoln's body from its grave to get Boyd back. So they hatched this really elaborate plot to do so. You've got to remember, the United States was very different back then. The Secret Service was very new. There wasn't a lot of security. Were they successful? This is a piece of history that's not shared very often. Now, this one reads like a fast-paced adventure book. You'll be wanting to know what happens next at every single page. That's Lincoln's Grave Robbers. Up next, Dear Bully, 70 Authors Tell Their Stories. It's a collection of stories in which 70 authors tell what it was like to be bullied in middle school or high school. Now, some of them were actually bullies themselves. They write letters to their victims. And one of the people in the story is an author you may have heard of, R.L. Stine, who writes the Goosebump books. He shares how he used his sense of humor to get past the bullying. Next up, What's Your Superpower? This book is part of a series called Best Quiz Ever. They're short books, they're fun books, and they're books that help you get to know yourself. You answer a series of short questions about yourself. Now, this one asks you questions to find out your superpower. Maybe your superpower is invisibility. Maybe you have a secret superpower where you talk to animals. It's a fun book. There's other books in the series. What type of friend are you? What color is your aura? What royalty are you? Fun, quick reads that you'll like. Up next, Parkland Speaks, survivors from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas share their stories. This book is about a tragedy that happened on February 14th to some students, and this is their reaction. They feature artwork and writing from students that witnessed a really terrible point in history. That one is Parkland Speaks from their own voices. Gone Missing is from the Amazing Mysteries section. I really like these because they're about people that literally just disappear. One such person is Gerald Potter. He was on an airplane flight with his wife. It's a small airplane. He got up to use the restroom. He was never seen again. Now, of course, his wife notices that he's missing. She asks for help. The staff, they look for him. He's not in the restroom, but they notice that the back hatch to the airplane, the back door, is open. Now, you would conclude that Gerald went out that back door. But the question is, how would one man be able to get open a door that is so hard to get open? He didn't just flip a switch and walk out. He would have had to use a lot of pressure. Now, furthermore, why did no one notice a gust of wind that would have happened when the door was opened? Find out what may have happened to Gerald by reading Gone Missing. The last one, Ghosts of the South Carolina Midlands. This one's very popular. It's about ghost stories, which we all like, but these are ghost stories not only in South Carolina, but ghost stories that happened here in the Midlands, around places you may have heard of or have been to. For example, there were reports of a ghost who used to roam the halls of Airport High School. Who was this ghost? What happened to him? There's a story about a ghost that resides at Lexington High School in the locker room. Are these stories true or not? You get to decide, and that's Ghosts of the South Carolina Midlands. So those are just a couple of nonfiction books that you might actually like to read. And of course, we've got all of those books here in the library. See you soon.